Hello my friends and welcome to the full version of Burden of Command First Impressions. We had a little look at the demo, I want to say it was like 4 months ago or something like 4 or 5 months ago, and it was pretty interesting. I think some of my main issues with the game was that it didn't support 4K properly. And it still doesn't seem to. Although I wonder if I can put the numbers in here manually. Let's try it. I can never remember off the top of my head what my exact resolution is, so just for safety. Should be 3840 by... Kind of funny that you have to put the numbers in. I haven't done this since the DOS days. Okay, done. Did it work? Looks like it worked. Okay, let's check out the campaign. Cotton Ballers. I just went ahead and selected the hardest difficulty straight away as if I'm going to do a full campaign. I try to show first impressions videos on the basic difficulty so that people can get an idea for what the game is like. But we did play the demo on standard, and it seemed pretty reasonable. This campaign occasionally shows disturbing images of graphic violence intended to convey the true burden of war. If this is not a fit for you, then please consider refunding the game now. Wow. That's very upfront of them.
Hello, this is Luke Hughes, lead designer for Burden of Command, and I'm breaking through the fourth wall today, ouch, to thank you.
Okay. We've seen it before, that's why I'm not reconsidering watching it. Commence my journey. Okay, so we did do all this before. This was part of the demo. "90-day wonder." +1 trust, +1 prestige. Well, I did do my 1 year as a reservist, so that's what I'm going to pick. You know what's funny is, like, I don't know if this is true for other reserves, but in the British, well, it works a little bit differently from in Jersey where I'm from. But in Jersey, there's only one thing that you can do, which is the militia. The Jersey Field Squadron, which is Royal Engineers. And you have to meet the same fitness standards as the regulars. Now, they are lower for being an engineer, but they're still quite punishing. And it's really hard to be that fit. So hard to be that fit when it's not your full-time job. Time to move.
So here I am, in boot camp.
Okay, if you're interested in watching these videos and this bit of the tutorial, just go and watch my video on my first impressions of the demo, because we did all of this, and it doesn't seem to have changed in any way.
This is a leadership RPG. We're always going to be focused on bringing out leadership.
Unfortunately, there's no way to skip the tutorial if you've done it before. And that actually feels a little bit wrong. I think the tutorial is great. It's been put together really nicely. But the fact that you can't just skip it and create a character is a little bit annoying.
This squad had. So I'm going to come down there, join my squad.
Okay. On this height, you can see a little stream. Okay, yeah, we've done this before, I believe.
Honestly, it would have been simplest to design the game as one.
Okay, that was a little bit different. I brought the kitchen squad with me. What if I didn't move that squad? Then you would have had one more order to move your leader. You're nearly late. That's the kind of stuff that corporals say. To be fair, forcing you to salute just before, like, a field exercise doesn't really make sense to me. You're on the field. But anyway. No questions. Let's get this tutorial done. So, here was where I first had my problem with the game. The game did not explain the cost of movement per tile, which I think is different depending on the terrain. And it doesn't look like it does either. Ah, waypoints do actually, like, show your reduced area where you can move to now. Okay. That's useful. Hey! Well done, Lieutenant. You avoided the sniper call. Most officers proved blind to that. Our squad looks beat. It's true, by all appearances, they can't possibly take another step. Some might say the morale is low. Right now, it's dog-dick low. They have been suppressed by enemy fire. They don't have to stay that way now, do they, Lieutenant?
Thank you, Sergeant Bennett. Sergeant Bennett is...
Okay, we've done this before. Once again, I did a first impressions of the demo, and the demo featured this tutorial. So if you want to see this tutorial in full detail, just watch that video. Rally squad. The troll, that is, moving any number of hexes takes orders, and if that unit is spent or has expended any orders, then it is not fresh and may not rally.
Anyone got a light?
You are ready, the men are ready, everyone is ready. Trench conflict. I think this is what I did last time.
Remember, Sergeant Bennett,
I moved. Can I still bolster from a distance? Not during a field thing. Right. There they are. I keep on misclicking here. Lieutenant, you went up over to first squad, but then did not form up your platoon properly prior to the attack. This would have resulted in some of your men being killed and time wasted until you could regroup for an actual assault against a now prepared enemy. Yeah. Probably had to teach this lesson over and over again. Not wear on anybody. Nod. Nod. Okay, that's the tutorial bit done.
A good leader needs to be able to think ahead,
this is where
anticipate a situation, and make a decision
demo
based on the
ended.
best information available.
Drafted. That's the only reason why you would sign up for this. I love all the little detail here to learn about the war. That's really good. Lieutenant Unnamed. I think I actually won that battle last time. Mostly by just charging in.
Well, it was infantry. And infantry is different than cavalry. We didn't have horses, but they had light tanks, the cavalry did.
So what kind of training then would you have in the infantry?
Bayonet, hand grenade. You don't throw a hand grenade like a baseball, you lob it.
Alright, the soldiers of your platoon are weary in their boots and they march back to their starting places. The morning run and the recent field problem have both clearly taken their toll. Let's go. Bennett passed along the order and he calls for a brief halt to form columns before resuming march. Isn't a pretty line, but at least they aren't dogging about it anymore. Naturally, they gripe about the unjust state of affairs. The assembly area, the field umpire, captain's bars idly adjusts his clipboard and then recites his expected line. It's a long run from the target range. It'll be the Krauts who are doing the running when we take a crack at them. Okay, we did see this in the demo, I remember now. Tell what to hit and we'll hit it hard enough for you to schlep right over. Want to see how your men perform with their rifles before we include the machine gun?
Bennett tells me you're progressing, LT. So today we get to talk about...
Okay, we've seen this. Okay, let's rock on. We're gonna shoot from here. Okay. Officers are more than foot soldiers. Trying to be one is a bad trade. It's probably it for the rifle work. Rifles did some work, MG can do more. Rifles took it easy, accurate shots. MG can spit out a lot more lead, but that alone isn't enough. That was probably the lesson the Umpire wanted to teach.
We further reinforce that sense of limited command and control by dividing the turn into leader rounds. If it's your leader round, you only get to lead your men, and you don't get to lead them doing Stern's leader round.
Okay, we've done this before too.
That end toward the enemy.
It's a sound to hear and fear, especially as the machine gun is firing at the enemy beyond the effective range of their rifles. Even better if he'd bolstered his men first. A lot of firepower, worth the weight of carrying it forward.
Lay it on him.
Yes, but this is blocking my sight of the mortar team. I suppose I can select it from here. But it's kind of funny how this dialogue box is actually blocking my selection of the mortar.
So, some of you will recognize this, but note there weren't any casualties. So, now we have to, ideally, flank and finish. And Dearborn, let's hope you can do the job here. So it's really about sort of laying down the field work for success. There's a lot of games that focus on drama melee, but from what I've read, for instance in Leo Murray's book, actually most assaults led to surrender or retreat because people suppressed don't really want bayonets in the stomach.
Okay. Well, let's move on. There we go, Lieutenant. Nothing that soldier can do about a shell that has his name on it. However, the squad isn't considered dead, merely pinned. And they'll stay that way unless you execute an assault, or take prisoners, or force them to retreat. Even a moderately suppressed squad will almost never be able to manage it. If the squad has got good morale, gets bolstered, and takes the enemy in the flank, well, they almost certainly commence the assault. How can you determine the flank, though? Because I don't think you can actually set directions.
the way!
Oh, they just shot instead of assaulting. You have to right-click after selecting the assault button. Then there's no way to undo it. I don't think. Why is it not working? Right click to move here, then assault. Maybe not enough action points? Maybe I need to move here and then assault? This is just showing another rifle attack. Okay, it's actually going to do it this time. Weird.
Do
this on purpose?
Bit strange that, but it did it, so that's fine. That's the way. It'll be harder overseas, but we got the method down here. Five more minutes. Exercise resumes at once. Can I scout them? Bonk. Okay, we'll just move him into cover. But use everything we got on the enemy before we make the assault. Rifles, MGs, mortars, some harsh language for the men to hear before we fix bayonets and go in. Okay, let's bolster. Let's end the turn to switch to my other leader. Boom. Oh, actually took a casualty there. Got him. Other squad is taken prisoner. No running off this time. Whistles blow. Exercise is truly over.
Being a strong leader also meant being able to rely on others to help get the job
I
done.
think this is where the demo
That
ended.
included fellow soldiers who had vastly different strengths and weaknesses.
Even me trying to
than his
rush
own.
forward, it's still taking me half an hour to get here. Still, it's a great little tutorial. It's, you know, full of detail and everything. Slow development of the attack, minimal losses. So the next exercise will not be so easy. To be fair though, that is my style. is caution and minimal losses. It's much more rewarded in games than speed ever is. Do not personalize your platoon, not recommended. This is my platoon. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Captain Lamb. Mindsets. Mindset is active. A lieutenant may use his one use per scenario on it. Remember that a lieutenant only gets one use across all his active mindsets. Launch a highly enhanced assault. Take no suppression, gain significant advantage flanking. Huh, 15% chance to become a casualty. Damn. Lots of interesting abilities here, but you may only choose one. It's very interesting. On occasion, a squad moving with this leader regains a casualty. A straggler has returned or a light wound is overcome. Send a scouting party. Select a reachable hex. You are guaranteed to reveal all enemies in the targeted hex and all adjacent hexes. Also get a normal LOS check from the targeted hexes if units were present. Your scouts are out there. However, if enemies are adjacent to or worse in that hex, a friendly unit may take casualties. Scouts lost. Such a powerful ability has a very negative sidebar. Not a huge amount of portrait choices here, but that's fine. I have no real preference for the insignia. Okay. It's a bit difficult to know what these numbers mean. Okay. There's a whole lot of stats here, but I'm not sure what experience and trust does mechanically. And that's kind of like, I find that in a strategy game, I find that a bit annoying that that the mechanics of what each thing does isn't spelled out. I've said this a few times, but good strategy is dependent on good information. Good information leads to good decisions. So if the information is not provided, you can't make good decisions. It's pretty much that simple. Let's have a look at a bit more of the game. It's a very interesting game. I like the idea of it being effectively a... It's like if Panzer Corps 2 was an RPG.
No, no. When we left Fort Leonard Wood, nobody knew where they were going. I mean, they just loaded us on the train, and in fact, we didn't know where we were going until we got close to somebody, how it got out, but somebody said we were going to Camp Pickett, Virginia.
2007. Hard to believe that was 18 years ago now. Your men trudge down the road towards the next training site. A jeep comes the other way, burdened with the big green army bags. Mail bags. I think that's our mail, Lieutenant. Sergeant Bennett asks, given how the jeep practically overflows with cargo, some of it has to be for Nickel Company. Who you left behind, set to parents. Who you left behind, set to wife. You left behind, set to sweetheart. Well, I'm married, so it has to be wife. Being separated from your wife is a hard thing. Marriage is supposed to be a bond, but right now the army comes first. The men are certainly distracted by the possibility of their own letters too. Sergeant Grant glances between Bennett and yourself, clearly eager for orders. Flag down the jeep, grab the mail for later. Trust -10, prestige +2. Let's build trust with the men. Bennett flagged down the jeep, and your opposing sergeant does precisely that by standing in the middle of the road, daring the driver to run him down. Brisk discussion results in the transfer of an army sack filled with letters. Since the regular rest breaks are a part of marches, there is one of those coming up. The men will have something other than to tend to their toes. Bet my Sally didn't write. She doesn't much like how the army deals with her letters. Private Morris says to the lanky soldier marching beside him. Could be worse, Private Patterson remarks, briefly glancing down at the slightly more rotund Morris. The army could try and read her writing. Let's go with this, since I just lost a prestige, I might as well try and get one back. The men want to talk and march, then he can adopt a cadence and do the same. Give the signal to Sergeant Bennett, begins to call off cadence. They say that in the army, coffee's mighty fine. Looks like muddy water and tastes like turpentine. Before the men can really sing about the joys of undercooked chicken and killer biscuits, the field umpire, the same one from earlier in the day, storms over. No singing, this is integrated Cuppy command operations, the field umpire with the clipboard says. His uniform is somehow crisp despite the heat. Right down to the black band, the field umpire neatly set about his sleeve. The good news is that the next exercise is ready. The bad news is that you, Lieutenant, are not. Wait for the twist. This will not be a repeat of the last exercise, though, field umpire says. Lieutenant Stern and Lieutenant Dearborn will be part of Blue Force. You yourself be acting as their captain. You know, limited time to consult with them. Limited time, sir? How limited? Use up preparation time. Low chance for far more preparation time. You argue your point with the field umpire, he just shakes his head and glances down at the watch. Taking the hint, you run for the rise. It sounds like they want us to fail again. Over the top of the rise, you find two lieutenants in the midst of a conversation. Stern paces about, kicking up pine cones with every step. Across from him is a man of bearing, tall without needing height, his hands clasped lightly behind him. Ah, Lieutenant. We were just discussing strategies while we wait upon the captain. I'm the captain for this field problem. Okay. Lieutenant Stern says without the slightest pause. Dearborn says nothing but finding your gaze upon him, he tends over a little nod of understanding at the situation. What kind of tricks do the refs have for us? Red Force isn't entirely in the buildings unlike last time, they're spread out. On the flanks, the more likely is not, they would guard the obvious approach to the objectives. Let's get to it, Captain. Captain is a wild card for orders. He can activate any unit in his company regardless of the active leader using Take Command. Furthermore, a captain can bolster, press and rally any squad in his company that is merely adjacent to him.
You may think tactical leadership is all about leading men in combat, difficult moral decisions. But frankly, a lot of it's about coordination. or what the military calls command and control. Wouldn't be a credible leadership RPG without some of that. And you've got some problems, LT. Look at you. You're inexperienced. You've got 4 orders to run 3 squads. Contrast the captain. He's got 5 stars. He's got 6 orders to run. Wouldn't it be nice if you had that? Well, maybe someday you will. Now, you're running a platoon. You're not running Stern's weapon platoon. You're running your 3 squads. And the interface reinforces your spotting them. There are ovals for your platoon. They're also over here. And you have an insignia for your particular platoon. You're reminiscent of the cotton balers insignia. And by the way, you can customize that.
Finish the exercise before turn 4. Suffer no more than light casualties.
Mortars, forward.
Quickly now.
Oh. Select the captain, but do not move. After locating the hidden second step, rally this unit. What is this? The hidden second step? You just select rally and just do it. Do you not? That squad is getting their shit in gear. Now we can press them to do more. Soldiering isn't about big deserts and beds of flowers. Together you and Bennett get the men moving again. There is no time to rest, not yet. Press order will expend 1 leader's order, but then refresh a single order for the squad. The most often used when the squad is in a bad position, but is also spent and can't act. Squad becomes tired and can't be pressed again until rested either. Via rally or rest.
There's another reason we do lead arounds, to emphasize another coordination problem, namely coordinating your company of 4 distinct platoons, independently led. That's not easy, and so the rounds force you to choose what platoon is doing what. And there's a last reason. The military likes to say, the enemy gets a vote, meaning they're not going to sit quietly while you do all the wonderful things you'd like to do. They might want to do things that interrupt your plan, kind of like happens in chess. You get a move, they get a move.
Not like a few sharp words from the sergeant to get the squad moving again. I'm waiting to lay down some fire to see whether the enemy is hiding over there. Send a messenger to Dearborn. It's his men and you'll probably have some other things to take care of. It's fine, the captain has subordinates. They can order their squads while the captain handles the bigger picture at the same time. Use this squad. There they are, and they're dug in like a dog on Monday. Time for mortars. The refs want 2 objectives taken, and they want the casualties to be light. 2 objectives are marked on your map. The refs will tell you when you have officially seized them, and if the enemy has taken them back, they will also tell you if you have inflicted necessary casualties on the enemy, or captured or destroyed key battle units. No one is in position, things get a little tricky, at least until someone puts up the proper flag. Casualties happen, you've seen plenty of those before, even now. Sometimes seemingly healthy recruit will drop dead when their heart gives out because of some unforeseen medical condition. But regardless of the source, the more casualties a unit suffers, the worse it will be a fighting unit. Right now, the men are fresh and the objectives have not yet been taken. Time to command. Use the captain. Just use the 60 mil from the hill. Flags go up. The enemy over there registers the hits. Mortars have been fired. You shortly have heavier artillery available to you. Proceed to an overlook position and act as the spotter for the rounds. The captain can see all of this, so therefore he can shoot all of this. Let's move through the forest just for the safety of it.
So let's see some of these leadership problems of command and control in practice. We've got an assault situation. We're hoping to take out these Germans here. To make it a little clearer, let's turn on bases. And why don't I bring down one of my squads? Notice up here it's indicating it's going to be my round because I'm doing something. So it's committed to moving my platoon. Now I could move everybody now, but I want to emphasize you don't have to do everything at once. Let's just say I want to pass to see what the enemy does. So I do. Luckily they're pretty passive. I'm going to creep these guys up. I'm going to use hotkeys to make this faster. Now I feel in pretty good position for an assault, but unfortunately it's my round, so I can't really start firing astern. Let's pass. Remember, leadership rounds, command and control. Stern's going to soften these guys up, hopefully. It's bolster, of course. You always want to do that to win a firefight.
This is a different map to the one we're actually playing right now.
Ah, wow, that was nice. We got them red right away. Let's just do one more to be careful. Though when they're red, you're usually in pretty good shape for an assault. But why not be overly cautious once? But I want to keep the momentum going. Now here's my problem. What if they've got a leader in there who's going to rally them? The enemy gets a vote, right? So I can't make my assault this leader round because it's Stern's leader round. So what am I going to do? Ah, this is where your ace in the hole comes in. Your captain.
Here we go, a concealed view of the battlefield. Not perfect, but take a look at that house down there. The enemy are certainly inside. We can ring their bell with some artillery. The US Army is going to use a lot of artillery, and here comes some of it. That's the math then. They look suppressed, so let's follow up with those buildings before they recover. Umpire points down the hill where Stern's machine guns are positioned a big wooden log that represents their Browning 30 cal. Trouble is, the weapon has a blind side in regards to the southern objective. Then run, Lieutenant. Exercise your authority over there. Okay, so there is a... Select the unit, use the Take Command button. Stone's going to swiftly reposition their wooden log to cover more of the battlefield. That will have to do. You may, as they say, fire when ready.
Captain Lamb here can do a couple of things. First, he's going to take this squad. You notice it's spent, and he's going to revive it. He's going to press it, give it an order. Notice he can do this even though it's your round, because he's the captain. He's got a bolster. I bet you can see where I'm headed now. And let's do the assault. Notice I get to do my assault during my round.
Stern's round, dude. That's funny. The editor.
Hoping for the best. Ha! I use the captain to glue my company together, to coordinate my weapons platoon with my infantry platoon. So, use your orders carefully. Place your leadership appropriately. Manage command and control. Command and control on the battlefield is hard. That's why you've got the burden of command.
Okay. Let's see. I think what I want to do is make these guys' day very unhappy and unpleasant.
Ross, aim high! Knock him out!
Okay, he's done. That squad is yellow, which is reasonable but not great.
Wir gehen nach Hause.
Gentlemen, to me!
Let's go. Failed assault. Use a high morale unit, preferably bolster that squad prior to making the assault if possible flank.
No can do.
I mean, I don't understand why that didn't succeed unless I just rolled a really tiny... I mean, they are bolstered, they are rallied. Move here, then move here, then assault. Too far. Move here, then assault. Ah, what is going on? I do not understand why that did not work. And that he just shot instead.
Hello, LT. I want to talk to you about one last nice aspect of your ace, your captain. He can influence troops adjacent. Doesn't sound that powerful, but it turns out to be quite efficient. So I'm going to have him bolster, I'll use hotkeys here, this adjacent member of your platoon. You didn't have to pay. Let's bolster these guys. Still didn't have to pay. Notice the enhanced movement. And if you want to be sneaky, you can even take command of one of my, or I'd say one of your platoon squads, and pay their initial activation for their move. That leaves you free to do whatever you might need to do.
Okay.
Assault, lead firefight.
That's fine. Look at that beast of a radio. I hope we don't have to lug it overseas. You are the captain. Strategy is theirs. It's going to rank your personal performance. That means leading an assault, bolstering squads, riding squads, pressing the men, shooting the enemy, the whole smash. Okay, what's next? What's next is... bolster
Let's
the
go
mortar.
kick some tuchus.
Then dump the round on their head. Then move here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Target heavily suppressed.
Armies?
Did they rally? Doesn't look like they did. Right, let's try this mess again, shall we?
Gentlemen, ready yourself.
Oops. I was not holding down the control button. I suppose at least this time it will probably work. Got him. Alright, Captain Crunch. Nope, that doesn't work.
Come on!
Here, then here, then here. Too far. Fine. Blade them. Okay, well that's not a surprise. Nearby radio crackles. One of the refs cups ahead with his headphone and then blows a small whistle. The exercise pauses. Field umpire stands with his clipboard at the side. He points towards the south edge of the field. 10 soldiers emerge from the bush wearing blue armbands. Who are they? No idea. They are now your responsibility. Get these men out of the exercise area. While yelling at them, they'll be Nickel Company men.
Where's that truck?
Okay, second squad. Move here. And then bayonet them. That's one down, one to go. I think the best way to take this objective would be to go around the back. But do we have time to go around the back?
I know you can do this.
Move here. Failed weapon range. Let the suppression commence.
Fire! Fire!
Uh... Move here. Rally
This will soon
squad.
break down. We are not finished yet.
think that's what we'll do. Guess he needs to be on the high ground. It's fine. They want to cut things short. I just know it. Major mission victory no longer possible.
Fire! Fire!
Cowering. Time for an assault. I'm going to presume that going along the top... Come on. Take command. I'm going to presume that going along the top... Yeah, it's not fast. No, I can't bolster because I'm using the captain. Unless I bolster with the captain, but I don't think he can see. Unless I move the captain. This actually blocks the enemy's sight. I could just use the captain, I suppose. What the hell? Enemy bombardment. Late as usual, be heavy enough to mark the end of this exercise and the beginning of the review. I guess there's a way to just get that final assault in on the turn before. Just have to organize yourself a little bit better. Okay, that's it for this first impressions. So, you know, it seems pretty obvious that the game's gonna play out with this one squad, and you're gonna take this squad through like a bajillion missions. I'm gonna have a quick look at the scenarios. No, that's just the tutorial, which we've just finished. Campaigns that start later, e.g. Morocco, will unlock for your future convenience as you complete a region. In case you want to come back sometime and start playing there. So basically, yeah, there's one campaign. They put all their horses, all their eggs into the one campaign basket, and that's what there is to do. Which is fair enough. The game is very fiddly, but it's unique, at least. I think some of the unit selection is very, very fiddly. But that was my complaint with the demo as well. But other than that, it's really good. I do love the historic nature of it, the history of it. They seem to have fixed the resolution issue as well, which is good. That was driving me bonkers last time. So, yeah. This is Burden of Command. I hope you guys found it interesting. I don't know how much of it is a strategy game and how much of it is an RPG. Maybe a little bit of a mixture of both. That is it for now. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.